Hello, it's Bar52 here, and today we're going to continue with our ships in the line by covering the Federation Constellation class. Constellation class specialised in deep space exploration or defensive patrols. It's now around 100 years old, so is one of the older vessels for the Federation. As it's an older vessel, many of its abilities are less energy efficient than the newer ships. To compensate for this, the Constellation actually gives you 3 extra core points for your lists. The Constellation can't be underestimated, however. It does have a very high science value for its crew, plus good sensors and comms range. Bridge and med bay are at the fore of the ship, and cargo and engineering are in the aft. It's a very low evasion stat of 1, and its resilience is also low at 2. It does have a warp value of 9. This means it can move up to 18 inches. However, because its impulse values are quite low, there will be an energy reserve cost. If you travel at warp speeds higher than your impulse value, you will have to pay the extra out of your reserve energy. Reserve power rating is 7, but it will need a lot of this energy if it's going to be travelling around the board, because both its impulse and warp require energy in order to move. As I touched upon, this is especially true if you're planning on going at high warp. We'll dig deeper now into the alert status dial of the Constellation. It has 2 green alert levels, 2 yellow alert levels, and 2 at red. This ship needs you to really manage your alert levels, as the dial can be quite unforgiving. You really need to master moving between the alert levels in order to balance energy recovery, instrument power output, and your shields and weapons if you need them. At Green 1, the Constellation has no energy replenishment natively. It also has no weapons power. It has 1 shield fore and aft and 2 instruments power. Its impulse is 8 and its turn is 3. This means even at Green Alert, if you want to move at warp 9, you will have to pay 2 extra energy, 1 to engage warp and 1 for the difference between your impulse rate and your warp speed. Constellation isn't built for racing, so you'll always be chasing your tail if you want to go at high warp speeds throughout the alert dials. This ship wants to be your workhorse and to carry out tests for you to score victory points. Green 2 sees you get 1 energy recovery and 3 instrument powers, but your speed goes down to 6 and your turn goes down to 2. This is the ship's sweet spot for carrying out tests since its instrument power is at 3. At Yellow 1, you get an extra shield in your 4, but you lose an instrument power, so back down to 2. You get a weapon power of 1, and your impulse will be slowed down to 5, but you will get 2 energy recovery. At Yellow 2, you get 3 energy recovery, your speed slows again to 4, your weapons power goes up to 2, and your instrument decreases again to 1. You get 2 shields fore and aft. Red 1 sees a boost to your weapons power to 3, plus your shields, 3 at the front, 2 at the back. Instrument power and reserve energy go down to 1. Red 2 strips away all energy recovery and instrument power in order to give you 4 weapons power and 3 shields front and back. Crew dial has 2 inspiration levels. It's particularly strong for operations and science, and no slouch either with command. The Constellation does suffer when it becomes hurt on the crew dial though. It's only got 4 steps and it drops significantly towards disabled. It has a respectable 7 hull. First damage hit, however, will hurt your crew. And have 3 yellow steps, the first of which gets you a damage card. You then have 2 amber steps, the first of which gives you a damage card too. Finally, you have disabled then destroyed. The captain's chair has the ability to adjust the alert status and to carry out warp. It also has address, which allows you to complete a command test in order to inspire this unit. Helm provides the ability to engage impulse. Interestingly, it also gives you close study, so if you have a technical skill, you can add an advantage token to the ship if you're within 2 inches of a feature by carrying out this action. Instrument station allows you to launch probes or carry out sensor locks. It also gives you a sensors bubble of 4 inches around the ship, or 4 inches in a cone in front, plus your instrument power. You have a comms bubble of 6 inches, and again, you've got a cone in front of the ship of 6 inches plus your instrument power. Three phaser emitters, 2 in the fore and 1 in the aft. The ones in the fore are on your port and starboard sides respectively, and you've got a cone out the back of your ship, so quite an interesting angle for your phasers coming out of this ship. You're in a gunfight, you're probably going to have a limited amount of shots, plus you will have blind spots. You have 2 torpedo tubes, 1 fore and 1 aft. Medbay gives you medical care, which allows you to heal personnel here, but it also gives you research archive, which, if you've got the skills, adds 2 advantage tokens to a team within comms range. Remember, this may well help the team, but if you beam them back on board, then disband them, those advantage tokens will become the ship's. This also makes the ship valuable as a support vessel, because then other ships can actually beam up the teams and gain those advantage tokens in the same way. The cargo bay allows you to ready an officer, form teams, or deploy Type 6 shuttles. Finally, engineering has the normal reserve energy, ready ability, and transport at green or yellow alerts. As normal, the Constellation has its own batch of flavourful damage cards, which are really quite nasty for the ship. Labs depowered. In the hazard phase, the ship adds a peril token, so it negates those advantage tokens you may be accumulating. Compartment fires. Your opponent assigns this to any station, and in the hazard phase, each personnel in this end of the ship sustains a trauma. Exploding panels. Assign this to any bridge station, and in the hazard phase, an opponent may spend one of the ship's peril tokens to move this card to another bridge station. The officer at that station will sustain 1 trauma. Fried conduits. An opponent assigns this to any station. Treat the ship's shield value for the section to which this is assigned as 0. Warp core breach. In the hazard phase, reduce the hull by 1. If this reduces the ship to being destroyed, each space unit at 2 inches sustains 3 hull damage. Hope you've liked that overview of the Constellation class. I've got to be perfectly honest, I've got a secret soft spot for this ship. I just love some of the older vessels that are available, and I've got high hopes for the Miranda coming out, and I just like being the underdog. Thanks again for joining us, and I hope that was helpful. See you again.